Neha Khanna. We have a packed show for you over the next 1 hour. We're going to bring you all the latest developments on the aftermath of the 2024 Lok Sabha polls. Let's get started with our top story. The big breaking news that came in this evening: actor turned politician and BJP MP Kangana Ranaut has alleged that she was slapped by a woman CISF official at the Chandigarh Airport today. The incident occurred around 3:30 p.m. while Kangana was going through security checks before boarding a flight to Delhi. The CISF officer in question, Kulvinder Kaur, seemed to be upset with the actor over the latter's remarks on the farmers' protests that had erupted across the country in 2020 and went on till 2021. In a viral video, Kulvinder Kaur can be heard saying, and I quote, "Kangana Ranaut had said women took 100 rupees each to join the farmers' protests. My mother too was a part of those protests." Kaur has now been suspended by the CISF and an investigation is underway. Meanwhile, Kangana Ranaut issued a video statement saying there has been a shocking rise in terrorism and violence in Punjab.
नमस्ते दोस्तों, मुझे बहुत ज़्यादा फ़ोन कॉल्स आ रहे हैं, मीडिया के भी और मेरे शुभचिंतकों के भी। सबसे पहले तो आई एम सेफ, आई एम परफेक्टली फाइन। आज चंडीगढ़ एयरपोर्ट पे जो हादसा हुआ वो सिक्योरिटी चेक के साथ में हुआ। वहां पे मैं सिक्योरिटी चेक करके जैसे ही निकली तो दूसरे कैबिन में जो महिला थी, जो सुरक्षा कर्मचारी थी CISF की, उन्होंने उनके पास या उनको क्रॉस करने का इंतजार किया और साइड से आकर जो है मुझे मेरे फेस पे हिट किया और गालियां देने लगी। और जब मैंने उनको पूछा कि उन्होंने ऐसा क्यों किया तो उन्होंने कहा कि वो फार्मर्स प्रोटेस्ट को जो है वो सपोर्ट करती हैं। और आई एम सेफ, बट माय कंसर्न इज कि जो आतंकवाद और उग्रवाद पंजाब में बढ़ रहा है, हाउ डू वी हैंडल दैट।
इसने बयान दिया था ना कि 100 रुपए के लिए बैठी है लोगों में, ये बैठेगी ना में, मेरी माँ बैठी थी उस टाइम जब इसने बयान दिया था।
चंडीगढ़ एयरपोर्ट पर कंगना रनावत के साथ जो घटना हुई उस पर बात करने के लिए हमारे साथ जयराम ठाकुर जी मौजूद हैं, पूर्व मुख्यमंत्री हैं हिमाचल प्रदेश के। सर, आपकी पार्टी की सांसद कंगना रनावत के साथ क्या हुआ, क्या जानकारी है आपके?
देखिए, मैं तो भी आपके सामने एयरपोर्ट पहुंचा हूं। मैं रास्ते में था, सूचना मिल रही थी, खबर आ रही थी, फ़ोन पर मैंने देखा तो मैं ट्राई किया कंफर्म करने के लिए हुआ क्या एग्जैक्टली। तो कोई डिटेल्स उस पर मिल नहीं पाई। हमें सिर्फ इतना जानकारी मिली कि यहाँ सिक्योरिटी चेक के समय जो है वहाँ पर थोड़ा इस तरह से बात हुई है और कोई पुलिस कांस्टेबल
किसान आंदोलन
ने जो है उनके ऊपर हाथ उठाया है। लेकिन कुछ भी वजह हो, लेकिन ये तो उचित नहीं है चुने हुए प्रतिनिधि के साथ एयरपोर्ट के अंदर जो है इतनी सुरक्षा के कवच में इस प्रकार का होना तो बड़ा अनफॉर्चुनेट है।
सर, हो सकता है आप और मैं किसी बात पे डिसएग्री हो, हमारी बहस हो जाए, लेकिन हाथ उठाना आप इसको जायज मानते हो CISF के एक ऑफिशियल के द्वारा?
नहीं, बिल्कुल भी गलत है, बहुत गलत है और उसमें तो कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए और सख्त कार्रवाई।
आप जांच की मांग करते हैं?
बिल्कुल, डेफिनेटली।
नहीं, बहुत अनफॉर्चुनेट है। किसी भी व्यक्ति के साथ इस तरीके की दुर्घटना नहीं होनी चाहिए एंड पर्टिकुलरली अ लेडी हु इज़ अ मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट नाउ। तो इनके साथ इस तरीके की बदसलूकी अगर करी है तो मैं समझता हूं कि, और वो भी एक सुरक्षा कर्मी द्वारा, बहुत अनफॉर्चुनेट है। और अभी ऐसा सुनने में आ रहा है कि कुछ उनकी ग्रीवेंसेस थी विद रिगार्ड टू जो फार्मर्स प्रोटेस्ट था, उसमें अपनी बात को रखने का एक संवैधानिक तरीका है, प्लेटफॉर्म है, उसमें अपनी बात रखते हैं, उसमें कोई नहीं है। मगर इस तरीके से किसी को असॉल्ट करना, और वो भी खास करके एक सुरक्षा कर्मी इस तरीके से अगर असॉल्ट करे तो ये बहुत अनफॉर्चुनेट है और इसमें हम इसकी कड़ी शब्दों में निंदा करते हैं।
देखिए, अपने आप में बहुत एक दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण घटना है, क्योंकि सिक्योरिटी एजेंसीज का काम होता है सिक्योरिटी करना। उनके काम में दूसरी बात कोई भी होती नहीं है। ये तो ऐसी कहावत होगी कि अगर बाढ़ खेत को खाने लग जाएगी तो खेत कैसे बचेगा। इसलिए सिक्योरिटी एजेंसीज का अपना काम होता है, उनको अपना काम करना चाहिए। जन भावनाओं के विषय के साथ उनको किसी प्रकार से कोई सरोकार नहीं होना चाहिए। बाकी बात जिसने करनी है, राष्ट्र एक लोकतांत्रिक तरीके से सब लोग अपनी बात रखते हैं, तो उनको किसी को जिनको रखना होता रखें। उनको सिक्योरिटी के नाते से ये काम शोभा नहीं देता है।
All right, let's now move on to our big focus tonight. Well, India has returned to the coalition era, as we've been reporting for 2 days now. It is not going to be a Modi Sarkar. This time is going to be an NDA Sarkar. The Prime Minister and several other ministers who are going to be inducted into his cabinet are scheduled to take the oath of office at 6 p.m. this Sunday on the 9th of June. But the question that we're asking is, have the pulls and pressures of coalition politics already begun for this government even before it has been sworn in? Remember, this time the support of two allies is critical for the formation and survival of this new government. We're talking about TDP Chief Chandrababu Naidu and Bihar Chief Minister and JDU Chief Nitish Kumar, who've been making headlines since the 4th of June when the results came in, making it clear that the BJP had fallen way short of the majority mark of 272, winding up with just 240 seats in the new Lok Sabha, and that it was going to, after 10 years, it was going to need the support of its NDA allies to actually be able to form the government at the centre. The support of these two parties is crucial, and therefore what is expected is that the two leaders are going to extract their pound of flesh. Well, rumblings have begun to some extent. The TDP is expected to demand special status for the state of Andhra Pradesh, where it has won an absolute majority and is set to form the next government. Chandrababu Naidu is expected to take oath as the next Andhra Chief Minister early next week. Then there is the JDU, which has demanded that the NDA government's controversial Agniveer scheme be reviewed. Why? Because they believe it has caused stress to the youth. Now, this is a scheme which has been controversial, but it is something that the Modi Sarkar had stood by firmly. Will the Prime Minister and the BJP now be willing to consider this demand by a crucial ally, that Agniveer should be reviewed and perhaps scrapped? Also remember, one of the key demands of Nitish Kumar all along has been that there should be a caste census across the country. Now, this is something that the BJP has been bitterly opposed to up till now. Issues about caste census, caste reservations, in fact, also took center stage during the very polarizing campaign that we saw in the run-up to the 4th of June. Throughout this election, there was a lot of rhetoric from both sides on these issues. Will the BJP be willing to accommodate its ally on this issue? If it does agree to grant special status to Andhra Pradesh on the demand of Chandrababu Naidu, does that mean that the BJP will have to do the same for Bihar? Is that not likely to open a Pandora's box with several other states making similar demands? And then let's not forget the other sensitive and critical issue of portfolio allocation. At the moment, there is only speculation on who is likely to get what. Reports seem to suggest that the BJP will hold on to the top 4 ministries of Finance, External Affairs, Defence and Home. These are the 4 ministries that constitute the Cabinet Committee on Security. But there's been plenty of speculation on what these two allies are demanding. They want plum portfolios, undoubtedly. They want several cabinet berths for their parties. They want several MOS berths as well. And if reports are to be believed, Chandrababu Naidu has called dibs on the crucial post of the Lok Sabha Speaker. The role of the Lok Sabha Speaker is extremely critical in any Lok Sabha. Will the BJP be willing to part with that post and give it to an ally? Remember, the two allies that we're talking about are said to be controversial because they're known to have switched sides multiple times in the past. Nitish Kumar is somebody who has become synonymous with Aya Ram, Gaya Ram politics in modern India. Many are even asking, are these two allies reliable enough for the BJP? Are we going to see a stable coalition government over the next 5 years? Or is there a rocky road ahead for this government? Remember, this is the first time in his entire political career that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to be heading a coalition government where his own party is not in a majority. We've seen coalition eras in India in the past, whether it was during Dr. Manmohan Singh's days or Atal Bihari Vajpayee's days, or going further back in the 1990s, where everyone referred to coalition politics as utter chaos. Now, we are not suggesting that we are returning to an era of chaos, but it is a return of coalition era nonetheless. How is the new government going to handle the pulls and pressures? That is a question that we are going to look at. That's what we're going to dissect with our panel of experts in just a moment. I need to take a quick break here. Don't go anywhere. We will introduce our panel on the other side.
One of southern India's largest cities is facing a water crisis in Bengaluru.
Water is constantly not coming.
From the past 2 months, we are not having some water also.
The citizens deserve water security at the very least.
We are going office without bath.
The acute water shortage really leading to citizens resorting to use of even private water tankers in multiple areas.
This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
Why is the state not looking at putting an embargo on that?
As a Telangana person, I will not accept.
How do ordinary folks deal with this?
Welcome back. You're watching News 9 Live with me, Neha Khanna. Let's now go across to our guests. Joining me on the show tonight is Ajit Jha, senior journalist, Bhanuchandra Nagarajan, political analyst, and Rennie Abraham, also senior journalist, will join us in a moment. All right, Ajit Jha, let me start with you. Now, you know, we've seen what's happened in the last 2 days. Yes, the NDA is all set to form its third consecutive government. The oath-taking ceremony is scheduled to take place this Sunday. All letters of support have come in from the NDA allies, extending their support to the BJP and Prime Minister Narendra Modi. However, we know that in just 24 hours, the political and power dynamics in New Delhi have changed drastically, and that sounds like an understatement. As I mentioned, Prime Minister Narendra Modi in his entire political career has never had to lead a coalition government where his party wasn't in a majority. That is exactly what's going to happen this time around. There is already a lot of speculation about how many portfolios, how many cabinet berths Chandrababu Naidu and Nitish Kumar are going to demand, how many policy decisions they would want the BJP to review. There is already, in fact, talk about Agniveer, caste census, and multiple other such issues, even special status to Andhra Pradesh and possibly to Bihar. The question really is, do you believe that the BJP government, led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi and propped up by its NDA allies, will be able to ensure smooth governance over the next 5 years, accommodating these demands that are being made by these crucial allies who, in fact, are going to decide the fate of this government to a large extent? Or do you believe that with the return to the coalition era, it could actually be a very rocky road ahead, contrary to what the BJP would have us believe?
Look, Neha, politics is potentially always a game of instability. because politics changes very fast, whether it's a dominant party or, if you want, a coalition government. But politics by its very nature, because there are too many things happening all around, it needs to accommodate all of those in its decision making. But I would expect, at least in the short term, the Modi government 3.0 to be rather stable, despite the demands that we see, the fissures that are appearing. And the reasons are the following. A, Nitish Kumar needs to win the Bihar State Assembly elections next year. And therefore, he needs the support of BJP to do that. In fact, there is even a rethink in the JDU that they might end up preponing the election, have it earlier, because right now they have a massive mandate in Bihar. So I think soon Nitish Kumar will get busy with the Bihar State Assembly election. Naidu has come, he was out of power for a long time, right? He's come back after 5 years in a major manner, both Lok Sabha seat 16, and he has swept the State Assembly elections. He needs to show his leadership in Andhra Pradesh. He needs to concentrate there. Of course, they have their demand. The special status for Andhra and the special status for Bihar is a very old demand. The special status for Bihar started in the year 2000, when Bihar was bifurcated into Bihar and Jharkhand under Atal Bihari Vajpayee's government. The claim by, at that time, the chief minister was Lalu Prasad Yadav. His claim was that the entire industrial belt of Bihar went away to Jharkhand. So we are just an agrarian state. So we need a special status, just like in India, we have the hill states have that special status, the northeastern states, Himachal and others. So they demanded, the Bihar is the poorest state. Since then, this demand has been going on under Nitish Kumar several times under his leadership in the last 20 years. That demand has been made. There is a long resolution on that. In fact, N.K. Singh was sent by the government to Patna to actually look at those demands, and somehow it didn't work out. But it is a long list of demands. Similar is the case with Andhra. And the point is, as you rightly pointed out, other states might ask for it, but what is important between both Andhra and Bihar, both were bifurcated, one between Telangana and Andhra, one between Jharkhand and Bihar. And other states which have been bifurcated have got special status in the past, like Uttarakhand and other hill states, category. So therefore, I don't think it's a very unreasonable demand, number one. Number two, caste survey. We saw that one reason why the BJP did not perform as expected in Uttar Pradesh, in Maharashtra, in West Bengal, in other states, for example, Rajasthan, is precisely because on the ground, there's a massive shifting of votes of which communities, the scheduled castes, the Dalits, the MBCs, most backward castes, and of course the minorities, towards the India alliance, which means the caste survey is a very important issue at the ground level. Of course, Nitish Kumar was the prime mover of it on October 2nd, 2023. He had officially announced it, and then 7 days later, Rahul Gandhi jumped on the bandwagon. And in a way, during the election, the caste survey is always called politically as a Mandal formula, because remember the Mandal agitation and the Mandal formula had started in Bihar under Karpuri Thakur government in 1977. So Mandal was a big challenge for what we call Kamandal, BJP, during the election. So I think both for Nitish Kumar and maybe for BJP's long-term sustenance, doing well in the election, it will be good to co-opt the Mandal agenda within the Kamandal agenda. So marry caste survey. Caste surveys are also, can be quite scientific. If it is done properly, it tells you the status of certain castes. Have they done better? have they become worse? Like, for example, take the most contentious issue of Muslim reservation. According to the caste survey in Bihar, 73% of Muslims in Bihar come under the backward category called Pasmanda. So in Bihar, 5 states of India, in Bihar, West Bengal, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, and Karnataka, caste-based reservation for Muslims has been going on for some time under the state government, not as a religious category, not Muslims as not Islam as a religion, but Muslims as educationally and socially backward. Now that is something BJP had opposed during the campaign. You saw Prime Minister Modi take a very tough stand on that. So on that, I think there'll be some negotiations. These are issues which have been pricks on both sides. But I have a feeling that because both sides have different ambitions, Nitish Kumar wants to win the elections in Bihar. Naidu wants, the revamp of Andhra Pradesh under his vision. And Prime Minister Modi wants a new vision in India. So I think they are complementary. They will help each other.
And so they'll probably find some middle ground. Middle ground. After all, they have to coexist. There is no other way for this government to otherwise work and survive. So let me take this. It's interesting. You're saying that because fears over caste reservations did seem to become a big issue in these elections, a narrative that was pitched quite successfully by the India Alliance, targeting the BJP. Therefore, it is entirely possible that the BJP is more than willing to accommodate Nitish Kumar this time on his demand for a caste census. Let me ask Mr. Nagarajan this question. My question simply is this. In the last 10 years, we've not seen anything of this kind. The BJP did not need a single ally to form the government. Prime Minister Modi did not need to look over his shoulder while taking any decision. He did not need to seek anyone's approval. Now, the scenario has completely changed. The BJP's opponents might say that the government is going to be at the mercy of Chandrababu Naidu and Nitish Kumar. The BJP is, of course, now talking about taking everyone along. And often when it comes to sensitive issues, running a coalition government is a tightrope walk. A tightrope walk that Prime Minister Modi has never had to do in his political career before. My question is, do you believe that this is, in a sense, a return to, if not the chaos of the 1990s, but the Atal Bihari Vajpayee years and the Dr. Manmohan Singh years to a large extent, and that we are going to see the pulls and pressures of coalition politics weigh heavily on this government as well?
The NDA has 293 seats. Okay, add 7 independents. There are totally 300 seats. No independent wants a new election again, right? So there are 300 players on the NDA side, and the number of seats that that TDP brings is 16, and the JDU brings is 12. So even if the worst case scenario, one of them drops out, the NDA will still be above 272. So this construct will be in the mind of everybody. Right, so no party wants to be that party that gets dropped off and the rest carry on with the government, right? So this is number one. So because the last 36 hours, all the arguments are constructed in such a way that both JDU and TDP are holding the gun to BJP's head, and BJP is some sort of a shrinking violet. Nothing like that. Both sides are very experienced politicians, experienced negotiators, and both sides need each other. JDU needs BJP for sheer numbers in Bihar, and TDP needs BJP for the development of Amaravati, special categories, so on and so forth. So this is the political side of things. We will see what sort of cabinet berths each of them are offered. But I think it will be a very fair negotiation. I don't think the tier 1 category of ministries, home, finance, external affairs and defense are going to go to any of the allies. The tier 2 ministries like education, agriculture, railways, rural development, etc. might be distributed among the allies. Okay, this is the political side of things. Let's look at the policy side of things. In the policy side of things, we have to first of all see whether there's a common minimum program, right? Because JDU has already agreed to the UCC, where as they are also said that there needs to be discussions. Number one. Number two, the budget that is going to come now. Okay, that will give a very important direction on where the policy of this government is going to be, because as we see from the results, there is obviously rural distress, agri distress, etc. We will see whether those categories, those sections are addressed through SOPs, whether it's going to be investment-based budget or a consumption-based budget, right? So another point before I give it back to you is we have to see what strategy BJP, whether they are going to go into self-preservation mode for the first 3 years, allow the coalition dynamics to work, or do big bang initially and see where it goes. We have to see how it goes, how it pans out. And also, this will also give an opportunity for us to observe how Congress as an opposition function, or even the NDA alliance as an opposition function. So all of this will pan out. Right now, sitting now, we are all very emotional, like, arrival of coalition politics, etc. But 2 weeks down the line, all the emotions will wither away, and we will have just the raw, hard numbers. And that is totally in favor of the NDA allies coalesce together and, running the ship together. Back to you.
All right. So you believe that, this is going to be nothing like the Vajpayee years or the Dr. Manmohan Singh years, when it was believed that the BJP and the Congress were in fact at the mercy of their allies. The numbers are stacked differently this time, but fact still remains it is a coalition government. Okay, so let me put this question to Reni Abraham. Reni Abraham, Mr. Nagarajan says, if Chandrababu Naidu decides to pull the plug, he will know that with Nitish's support and the support of other, independents, etc., the government will still carry on. And the same goes for Nitish Kumar if he were to decide to switch sides once again, which as we know he's prone to do. Therefore, neither of these two players would want to rock the boat. That is what Mr. Nagarajan seems to think. But look at what's happening even before the swearing-in ceremony. The demands have begun. Give us a caste census. Give us state special status. Review the Agniveer scheme. Give us plum portfolios. We want these many cabinet berths. Therefore, my question to you is, do you believe it is going to be smooth sailing for, the NDA Sarkar, for Prime Minister Modi over the next 5 years? Or is it likely to be a bumpy road ahead, as is usually the case with coalition governments?
Neha, I would partly agree with what Mr. Nagarjun has said in terms of how there is very little discord from either the JDS or the TDP in the current government dispensation that seems to be, being coalesced together. Now, the reasons for that, though, I would feel are slightly different. We must remember it was not very long ago that Chandrababu Naidu was in a strong alliance with the BJP, following which he was able to secure a special package for Andhra Pradesh, and following which there was a falling out of sorts with the BJP having alleged that he had probably usurped the special package, without actually focusing it on the intended benefits for Andhra Pradesh. Now, right after that, with the Jagan Reddy government coming into place, we also saw Chandrababu Naidu being jailed. And that was the period, when he went through serious reversals, as I understand. As it was put to me, that he was even close to death. I mean, that was his, situation on a physical level and medically speaking also. Now, at that time, the BJP has kind of given him a little bit of support. He was, kind of got back into his political mold, and which is something that he will not very quickly forget. Secondly, while there is a lot of talk about cabinet berths being demanded left, right, and center, what I gather is that Chandrababu Naidu and even Nitish Kumar, the latter having an imminent state assembly elections that he has to face in Bihar. So both of them are very keen to consolidate their position in their respective states, and it is not in their own interest to rock the boat. So as far as Andhra is concerned, yes, There is a huge demand for a special package once again. And the Modi government is also very keen because they have as yet not been able to, indulge in a lot of infrastructure creation in Andhra Pradesh as they intended to. You will remember the metro was launched in Andhra Pradesh, subsequent to which Jagan Mohan Reddy announced free bus travel for women in the state. And subsequently, Larsen & Toubro, that was the concessionary that had created the metro, was looking to exit the project, considering it becoming unviable to sustain. So you are seeing a situation where the government of Narendra Modi is keen to be indulging in a lot of infrastructure investment in Andhra Pradesh. So also, I would imagine Bihar, and their focus is going to be the states where there are imminent state assembly elections coming up, and we will likely see the cabinet, like you're going to see even Chirag Paswan in all likelihood being given a good portfolio, while he's being made to square up against Tejasvi Yadav in Bihar, but he is likely to get a portfolio that will have a connect to Bihar, so that he can more effectively be positioning against Tejasvi Yadav in the state of Bihar. So this is how it stands. I don't understand about this discordant notes that are being talked about. They have all already assimilated. It's a pre-poll alliance that we are discussing here. So to now suggest that the pre-poll alliance is disbanding and over threats of portfolios or caste census, I find that a little unlikely to go forward. My personal knowledge is that the BJP is keen to launch a flagship scheme of handing over administration of temples across India to the Hindu community. That is one of their priorities that they are looking at doing, so that, this has been a long pending demand which is before courts and litigation. If the Christian and the Muslim communities can have administration of their own religious bodies, why is the Hindu community bereft of the same? It's not to say that the Hindu community is incompetent or incapable of handling it. So that is one of the flagship schemes. As far as caste census is concerned, the Modi government has been very consciously against bringing policy on caste and reservations. If we have seen what happened in Gujarat, when the Patel demanded it, Modi took the risk of, reducing his strength of MLAs in the state rather than conceding to the Patel demand. So as far as caste, and if you notice in the Lok Sabha polls too, after having conducted the so-called caste census, Nitish Kumar did not talk about the caste, issue at all during the Lok Sabhas. So I don't know from where this is coming. From what I gather,
well, this has been a long-standing demand of the JDU. I think that is very well known. Plus, the story has just begun. The election results came out just 2 days ago. The new government hasn't been sworn in yet. That's going to happen this Sunday. So as they say, picture abhi baki hai.
Yeah, and they've already, that is why the first thing they did was got the support letters from both Chandrababu Naidu and Nitish Kumar in place, yes. So to preempt any such disruption that can negatively affect the government.
Absolutely. All right. So it's certainly will be fascinating to see on Sunday, for example, how many ministers and who all are sworn in along with Prime Minister Modi, and then who gets which portfolio. We're expecting those details to be released by the new government by Monday. Okay, we now
if I may put in here,
yes,
Neha, if I may just put in here, I believe Shivraj Singh Chauhan is most likely to be probably given agriculture. Because he has done some huge work as CM of Madhya Pradesh when he set up this, international wheat and soybean hubs for exporting to Europe. So therefore, I am told very strongly that he is a contender for being made the agriculture
minister. And look at his victory margin. If I'm not mistaken, his has been the highest victory margin amongst all the BJP candidates. He's won his seat by more than 8 lakh votes. Having said that, let's also keep in mind that the allies that we are talking about, Naidu and Nitish, also seem to be eyeing some of these portfolios. Agriculture, irrigation, infrastructure, rural development. So are we likely to see some sort of a clash there, or, you know, difficult negotiations? I guess those are questions that will be answered over the next few days. Okay, so I now need to shift the focus to another important developing story. That is the Game of Thrones that is currently unfolding in the state of Maharashtra. While there are multiple states where the BJP hasn't done well this time around, with the result that it was reduced to a mere 240 seats in the Lok Sabha, the difference in Maharashtra is that, well, some would say the knives are out and internecine conflicts within the Saffron Party seem to have begun. We saw yesterday Deputy Chief Minister and senior BJP leader Devendra Fadnavis offered to resign, taking responsibility for the BJP's dismal performance in the state. The BJP, let's remind you, has managed to pick up just 9 of the 48 seats in Maharashtra, a state where it is in power, a state where it was hoping to improve its tally. And to everyone's surprise, the Congress party, which was always seen as the weakest link in the Maha Vikas Aghadi alliance, the MV alliance, has actually come out on top with 13, the highest number of seats in Maharashtra amongst all the political parties. So in that sense, the tables seem to have turned in Maharashtra. What ramifications is that likely to have? There is feverish speculation about whether Devendra Fadnavis will indeed step down as Deputy Chief Minister. Then there are those who are claiming, and we don't claim to have any independent verification of this, that Uddhav Thackeray, whose party, the UBT faction of Shiv Sena, has done rather well in these elections, may consider coming back to the NDA fold. And the BJP may be open to replacing the current Chief Minister and Uddhav Thackeray's bitter rival, Eknath Shinde, who heads the other camp or the other faction of the Shiv Sena. You know, that he may very well be replaced by Uddhav Thackeray as the Chief Minister of Maharashtra. Is that really going to happen? We can't really say. Why is this so significant? Because Maharashtra Assembly elections are just months away. They're expected to be held in October or November. And the stakes are very high for all the important players in the state of Maharashtra. There are 2 factions of the Shiv Sena. There are 2 factions of the NCP, one led by Sharad Pawar, the other led by his nephew Ajit Pawar, who is part of the current Mahayuti alliance and the government in Maharashtra. There is the Congress, there is the BJP. And as we speak, we can give you an update that Ajit Pawar had called a meeting of his party legislators. And the news that we have for you is that at least 5 of his MLAs decided to skip this meeting. We are told 2 of them are out of town and the others are quote-unquote sick. They have fallen sick suddenly. And guess what? Sharad Pawar is on record as saying, and he held a press conference earlier in the day today, he is on record as saying that many MLAs belonging to the Ajit Pawar faction of NCP have reached out to his camp and that they want to actually return to their fold. So a lot of interesting developments taking place currently in Maharashtra. What's going to happen next? Will we see a change of guard in Maharashtra? Are we going to see political realignments over the next few days and weeks in the run-up to the Maharashtra Assembly polls? And what do these Lok Sabha results mean for the state of Maharashtra? Let's put those questions to our panelists. I still have with me Ajit Jha, Banu Chandar Nagarajan, Reni Abraham, and also joining us now is S. Balakrishnan, senior journalist. He joins us from Mumbai. So, Mr. Balakrishnan, let me start with you. You follow Maharashtra politics closely. Welcome to the show, sir. As I just mentioned, the Game of Thrones in Maharashtra seems to have only just begun. On the one hand, there seems to be a blame game that's taking place within the BJP for its poor showing. On the other hand, so much speculation about the 2 factions of the Shiv Sena and the 2 factions of the NCP. All sides making claims and counter claims. Put this into perspective for us, sir. It's getting all very confusing for us outside of Maharashtra. What exactly is going on there?
Neha, what's happening right now is that the BJP is completely demoralized because of the poor performance of the party. Now the question is, even though Devendra Fadnavis has put in his papers, nobody within the party is willing to blame him. On the contrary, today thousands of the cadres of the BJP from all over Maharashtra called him and persuaded him to change his decision to quit. Because the problem is that now a situation has emerged in Maharashtra where it is seen that only Devendra Fadnavis will be able to save the situation. And if he's not in a position of power, there is no way in which the party can grow further. But the problem is that Devendra Fadnavis does not have the full confidence of the central leadership, especially that of Mr. Amit Shah. If you recall, when Devendra Fadnavis did so much to split the Shiv Sena, pulled down the Uddhav Thackeray government, and he followed it up with another operation of splitting the NCP. Despite doing all this, he was not given the CM's post. He had taken for granted that he will be given the CM's post, and even in the press conference. But at the last moment, JP Nadda called him saying that you are not being made the chief minister, you have to accept the post of deputy chief minister. It was a kind of demotion from him. From holding the post of CM, he has just become a DCM. This is highly demoralizing. And apart from that, he has been finding it extremely difficult to function because of the attitude of Ajit Pawar, who's very just an acerbic in his approach, very blunt in his approach. See the case of a simple thing like the Porsche accident in Pune. Devendra Fadnavis, despite heading the home portfolio, he has now been able to get Ajit Pawar's MLA, Sunil Tingre, to be interrogated by the Pune police. So many days have passed, and Sunil Tingre is the person who went to the police station that day to put pressure and influence the investigation and take that minor boy off the hook.
And let me tell you, sir, let me tell our viewers, Sunil Tingre is one of those MLAs who skipped the meeting that was called today by Ajit Pawar.
No, that is true. It could be part of a kind of planned strategy. For that matter, Ajit Pawar himself did not take part in many of the Maha meetings during the Lok Sabha election. If you recall, Modi had one of the biggest road shows in Bombay, but Ajit Pawar was nowhere in the picture. Every other day he was claiming that he was not well or something like that, but it was a political illness more than anything else. So Ajit Pawar has become a major irritant for the Maha government here. And it's only a question of time before the central leadership of the BJP cracks a whip on him. In any case, his political position is extremely weak today because he has not been able to get his own wife Sunitra elected in Baramati, despite all the hype. And apart from that, the NCP led by Mr. Pawar, which contested 10 seats, they got as many. It has been a fantastic performance. Even though in terms of absolute numbers, 8 seats is not much. But the fact remains that Devendra Fadnavis is a central person, the key to the whole thing which is happening in Maharashtra. If the central leadership of the BJP once again sidelights him and not give him the importance that is due to him, the BJP
You've made two very interesting and important points. One is you believe that Devendra Fadnavis has lost the confidence of the central leadership of the party, especially Home Minister Amit Shah. And secondly, you believe that Ajit Pawar has become an irritant in this Mahayuti alliance and government. Therefore, Reni Abraham, let me ask you the tough questions. Is there any real possibility of Uddhav Thackeray returning to the NDA fold and actually being made chief minister, with Eknath Shinde being shown the door by the BJP? After all, this is politics. Anything can happen. Maharashtra elections are 4 to 5 months away. And also, could we see Ajit Pawar himself making a ghar wapsi?
Neha, I mean, I would just simply say absolutely not. We must not forget that Uddhav Thackeray has made a good showing along with the MVA alliance in this just concluded Lok Sabha elections of India in Maharashtra. And this has been on the back of a strong Muslim vote adding on to his conventional Marathi Manus voters in Maharashtra, in the pocket boroughs where the Shiv Sena has. So with state assemblies, set to be imminently held in October or November this year, it is highly unlikely that he will try to disturb the apple cart, so to speak, or upset it. Like the same way, the BJP would not make immediate moves in terms of even DCM Devendra Fadnavis having offered to resign, and they're more likely to ask him to wait because the BJP will not go on the timelines being prescribed by Fadnavis himself. I would slightly diverge with Bala's viewpoints in terms of what Devendra Fadnavis. We must not forget that he has always been propped as the face of the BJP in Maharashtra. Yes, as a Karyakarta of the party, he followed the protocol of the party and owned up responsibility for the debacle state that Maharashtra turned out for the BJP in the 2024 Lok Sabha elections. And that was only in keeping with, that protocol. So which the BJP is not likely to immediately decide upon. And there is, because that again will create a wrong perception, among the voters that we've got our calculations all wrong. So there will certainly be a reshuffle, as I wrote a day before Fadnavis offered to resign. I had written about it a day before that there is an organizational reshuffle that is imminent in Maharashtra. And it will not be restricted to Devendra Fadnavis, mind you, because it's a huge debacle they have faced. After having scored 23 Lok Sabha MPs in 2019 out of a total 25 seats that the BJP contested from. This time round, having contested 30 seats, they were able to only bag 9. So it's a true debacle that has been faced in Maharashtra, which has cost the BJP dearly and put them in a precarious situation.
Absolutely.
So I don't see any drastic moves, neither Uddhav Thackeray changing his spots, nor or newly acquired spots, neither the BJP going for some immediate action to,
the operative word there being newly acquired spots. You see, that's the thing with Indian netas and Indian politics, that, you just don't know how long they will stick to a particular ideology or position. After all, the man who's been described as the biggest kingmaker of this election, as I said at the start of the show, is now synonymous with Ayaram Gayaram politics in this country. Therefore, with politicians, you can never be sure. But on a more serious note, Ajit Jha, let me ask you this question. Reni Abraham seems to think that there will be no major changes carried out by the BJP immediately in Maharashtra, but many are saying that the knives are out for Devendra Fadnavis. After all, this was an abysmal performance by the BJP in Maharashtra. And we know the BJP is a political party that learns its lessons from its defeats. It is not known to sit on its hands. It is known to take corrective action. And it is more important now than before in Maharashtra, because Maharashtra goes to polls 5 months from now. Therefore, what are the corrective measures that you believe the BJP is likely to take in the run-up to the Maharashtra polls? And what are Ajit Pawar and his MLAs up to, according to you?
See, first of all, let's point out that the mandate that the Lok Sabha showed, the people's mandate, is now with the India alliance. Congress has performed the best, Sharad Pawar has performed the best, and Uddhav Thackeray is turned out to be the new hero of Maharashtra. He was the chief minister. He was almost backstabbed, as if you can call it, by Shinde, and Ajit Pawar backstabbed his uncle, Sharad Pawar. That sympathy vote has helped Uddhav Thackeray to return as the new hero. So obviously, in the coming election, Uddhav Thackeray, Congress, and Sharad Pawar are going to go back again together to the people. And remember, the massive Dalit vote, which in fact people like Prakash Ambedkar were supposed to control. Prakash Ambedkar collapsed, and the Dalit vote in a massive way has shifted back to the Congress, Sharad Pawar, and Thackeray. So my analysis, my sort of speculation would be that this alliance has right now strengthened. If it can continue holding together, there are some frictions here going on, because remember, Uddhav Thackeray has not attended the India bloc meeting in Delhi. Okay? Because there is one big difference. In the India bloc took the decision not to stake a claim for government in Delhi. Somehow Uddhav Thackeray is against it. Uddhav Thackeray has been calling up Mamata Banerjee, and he has been calling up several other leaders within the India alliance who think that they should have staked a claim and tried to break the NDA. Now, obviously, it looks like a dream which is very difficult to fulfill, but at least Uddhav Thackeray is wanting to come back to power. So the BJP might try to tempt him, but I have my doubts that he will, because he knows that in 5 months, if elections are held today, most likely, if one could speculate 5 months before, because a lot can change in 5 months, but if one can speculate, we see a return of that government led by Uddhav Thackeray, Sharad Pawar, and the Congress. Right now, obviously, Ajit Pawar is out in Maharashtra politics. He faces allegations. We saw how Prime Minister Modi, even when he was part of NDA, we saw how Prime Minister Modi ignored him during that famous meeting where Prime Minister Modi was garlanding Ambedkar in Mumbai. So Ajit Pawar's career is over, according to me. His MLAs will obviously come back to Sharad Pawar. Okay. And in the next election, I think it will be...
The uncle might show some magnanimity and say, let's forgive and forget everything and take the nephew back as well? Or that's not going to happen?
Well, Sharad Pawar being Sharad Pawar, anything is possible. He always thinks out of box. He would probably realize that Ajit Pawar is right now in his dumps. So then he might extend a hand and showing a sympathy, bringing the family together, maybe giving him some crumbs. But basically, he's no more the leader that he used to be at one time, right?
Okay.
So Chhagan Bhujbal along with Ajit Pawar, all these guys are discredited in this particular election. So what I'm trying to point out is that because Uddhav Thackeray is unhappy with the stand taken by the India alliance, maybe the BJP can try to sort of induce him with something. But whether it will work or not...
But he probably has, as you mentioned, better chances of becoming Chief Minister after the election in October, November, if he decides to stay with the MV Alliance, rather than switching sides at this point in time on the eve of the election and losing out on that sympathy vote, which he's probably garnered in this election.
That's true.
So it's interesting. You believe Ajit Pawar's career may be over. And also, let's remind ourselves, if Uddhav Thackeray decided to skip the India Alliance meeting in Delhi, Ajit Pawar skipped the NDA meeting in Delhi as well. All right, I'll give the last word on this discussion to Mr. Nagarajan. I'm out of time, Mr. Nagarajan. Very quickly, your thoughts on how things are playing out currently in Maharashtra politics. What big changes are we likely to see in the run-up to the assembly elections?
Okay, so in 2014, the NDA won 43 out of 48. This time it was reduced to 17. Many big names, including ministers, Rao Sahib Patil, Bharti Pawar, other big names like Pankaj Munde, Hina Gavit. So many people lost. Okay, and there are probably 4 main reasons for this. Obviously, one is the Maratha anger, Maratha reservation, and the pitting of the Marathas. OBC, it's reflected in the 0 out of 8 in the Marathwada region, Baramati, Ahmednagar, Shirur, everything has gone to NCP. Second is the confusion with the Dalit reservation. The Devendra Fadnavis said that there was a deep fake video of Amit Shah that went around saying that the reservation with Dalits will be cancelled, right? It's perhaps probably one of the first large AI deep fake interference in Indian elections ever. But that's the topic. That is reflected in the just give me 30 seconds. That's reflected in the Vidarbha seats where BJP just got 2 out of 7. And the Shiv Sena, there was the underdog effect for the Shiv Sena and the Sharad Pawar NCP, which was reflected in Mumbai splitting 2-4, right? In fact, Amol Kirtikar just lost by 48 votes in Mumbai Northwest. So all of this is in play. And on top of this, the agriculture and rural distress, which perhaps will be addressed in the budget, as I said my previous comments. So what is going to drive it forward? Number one, both the sections got 44% vote share, and I think they'll be like, they'll consider themselves equals going to the assembly elections. Second is whether Uddhav Thackeray comes back to NDA will be decided after that. And last but not the least, both sides lack a credible leader. Let's see if BJP brings a credible leader from its fold for the assembly elections.
Okay, so could the BJP be looking for a face other than Devendra Fadnavis to actually lead it into this Maharashtra Assembly election? That is one of the many questions that's blowing in the wind at the moment. Completely out of time. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me on the show. Ajit Jha, Bhanuchandra Nagarajan, Reni Abraham and S. Balakrishnan. We look forward to having all of you back on the show to discuss what is likely to happen in Indian politics over the next few days. All right, as we wrap up this show, let's get you some more details of that swearing-in ceremony that is scheduled to take place at 6 p.m. this Sunday on the 8th of June. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is set to take oath as the Prime Minister for the third consecutive time on the 8th of June after his allies chose him as their leader at a key meeting held in Delhi yesterday. And interestingly, top South Asian leaders have been invited to the swearing-in ceremony, once again reflecting the government's neighbourhood first policy. Bangladesh and Sri Lankan leaders have in fact confirmed their presence at the event. They spoke to Prime Minister Modi on the phone. The media division of the Sri Lankan President Ranil Wickremesinghe's office said he's accepted the invitation to attend the swearing-in ceremony and congratulated Prime Minister Modi on his electoral win. Sheikh Hasina, the Bangladesh Prime Minister, was in fact amongst the first foreign leaders to congratulate Prime Minister Modi, reflecting the warm and personal rapport between the two leaders. She is expected to arrive in Delhi one day before the swearing-in ceremony, according to the Bangladesh media. Formal invitations have also been sent to the Nepal Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal Prachanda, his Bhutan counterpart Shering Tobge, Mauritius Prime Minister Pravind Jugnauth, and interestingly also to the new Maldivian President Mohammad Muizzu, somebody who has taken a rather shrill anti-India stand in the few months since he came to power and a pro-China stand. Is he likely to attend the swearing-in ceremony of Prime Minister Modi? Well, we'll have to wait to see. The BJP, with 240 seats and falling short of the majority mark, is now going to form a coalition government with the support of its allies. The NDA partners, the Telugu Desam and the JDU, in fact, are going to be very critical components of this new government. Now, talking about the foreign leaders who've been invited, let's not forget, in 2014, Prime Minister Modi's first term, the leaders of SAARC nations, in fact, were invited. All of them attended the Prime Minister's swearing-in ceremony. And in 2019, leaders of the BIMSTEC, that's Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Technical and Economic Cooperation countries, attended the oath-taking ceremony. So this is not the first time that Prime Minister Modi has extended an invitation to foreign leaders to attend his swearing-in ceremony, but this is certainly an outreach once again to South Asian leaders. Interestingly, Pakistan is not on that list. Pakistan has not been invited. Who all are going to finally show up remains to be seen, but there is a confirmation, as we said, from the Sri Lankan and Bangladesh leaders. And talking about congratulatory messages and phone calls, they have been pouring in. Almost all major leaders around the globe have either messaged their congratulations to Prime Minister Modi or in fact picked up the phone and spoken to him over the last 24 hours to congratulate him. These leaders, in fact, include US President Joe Biden, Russian President Vladimir Putin, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, and many, many other leaders. All right, that's all the time we have on this show. Thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned to News 9 Live for the latest news updates.
Start with the end in mind. You need to know where you want to reach. Every morning that we wake up, we are exercising our choice. The destiny is decided. The results are known that I'm going to win. Life of a goalkeeper is something which has always intrigued me.
When you come into a stadium, this is the highest level of pressure.
When I set out to do something, I decide in my mind that failure is not an option.
What you feel very strongly about, those are the stories to tell.
I have a mind which is absolutely restless.
Mind and body are entangled sensations.
That brings me back to golf. It's an amazing game.